This video is sponsored by Sunnah Currency. They have a competition in which you can win the first in a series of Khatm Nubuwwat 100-gram silver bullion bars, superbly hand designed and crafted, featuring the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in stunning calligraphy. Ana khatamun nabiyyin la nabiyya ba'di. I am the last of the prophets, there shall be no prophet after me. How to enter? Number 1, follow at Sunnah Currency. Number 2, like and save this post. Number 3, tag at least 3 friends in the comments. Number 4, share this post on your story. Tag at Sunnah Currency. It's 1 comment per 1 entry. You can do multiple comments for multiple entries. I'm gonna put the Instagram competition post link in the description. And I've got a unique link to the website with a 5% discount to Smile to Jannah subscribers. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of
Jannah.
Tristan Tate, who is the brother of the infamous Andrew Tate, who went viral for his straight talking when it came to masculinity. Whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, both brothers are in prison because certain charges have been levied against them. Andrew Tate, as I'm sure you know by now, did accept Islam. He's a new Muslim. His brother, on the other hand, is a Christian, Tristan Tate. As you can see from this tweet, he's a Christian who appreciates the link that Christianity and Islam has, as we're told as Muslims as well, that the Christians are the closest to you. So he is a Christian that appreciates Islam. Of course, now that his brother accepted Islam, I mean, it only makes sense. But as you can see from this tweet, he is looking at the commonalities between the religions, as I think is very important, especially in this day and age where it's not Christianity versus Islam, rather it's theism versus atheism. And here is another tweet which was quite interesting. When he entered prison, he noticed that Andrew Tate was getting a lot of letters compared to him from his Christian brethren. And finally, the tweet that got some people thinking, has he accepted Islam? Is he gonna accept Islam? And that was when he said he's run out of books and now he has borrowed Andrew Tate's Qur'an and now he's reading that. Now, I'm not somebody that starts forwarding hearsay, but I did find a credible clip. It's on LBC, which is very famous here in the UK. And the lawyer was asked about them accepting Islam or converting, and here's what she said.
He has converted, or perhaps both of them converted to Islam, have they?
That's my understanding, yes.
So although it hasn't been confirmed by him and his team, but the lawyer of course does have greater access to them. So it definitely seems plausible and logical that he probably has accepted Islam. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I'm saying that this was enough for me to say, you know what, it's not just like a WhatsApp post about Mr. Bean accepting Islam. Remember when that happened? What's also ironic is when Tristan Tate was asked about converting to Islam, he seemed a bit kind of apprehensive.
I would not convert for the reason of getting any kind of material or social benefit. I don't think that's how conversion works. I don't even think you choose to convert. So as for a personal conversion, I will say no, that's probably not coming. It's certainly not coming yet. If it does happen, it will be an organic process.
And this indeed proves that guidance actually comes from God, from Allah. So I actually agree with him on this point. And I think it's important that those of you that are sitting on the fence, life is not meant to be lived sitting on the fence. Get off the fence and experience life, not just the material aspect but the spiritual aspect. But one thing that I think we need to unpack, and that is the significance of the Qur'an and what makes the Qur'an different to the other holy books, because at the end of the day, that's what Tristan Tate is reading. I'm going to try put a link in the description for you to order your free Qur'an also. So let's jump into this. At the very least, I'm sure you know that the Qur'an is revealed in the Arabic language, and Arabic is one of the Semitic languages, which means it's related to Hebrew, the language of the Old Testament, and even to Aramaic, which was the language of Jesus, peace be upon him. And secondly, it's such a rich and vast language. I mean, take the word friend. There's like 10 different words for the word friend, yeah? And they have subtle differences. For example, Sadiq. Sadiq is truthfulness and loyalty that can be proven repeatedly. Let's take the word Rafiq. Rafiq is somebody who can offer comfort in difficult times. Let's move on to Wali. Wali is somebody who never leaves your side. And if that's not all, if you look at the classical books, be it Abrahamic faiths, be it Hinduism, Buddhism, the likes, Arabic itself is a live language, which means it can even be accessed today. In fact, it's the 6th most spoken language on the planet. Let's move on to proving that the Quran that we have today is the same Quran that was there at the time of compilation, mate. And this is something that Judaism doesn't claim, Christianity doesn't claim, and preservation of manuscripts is not something that Judaism can prove or Christianity can prove or even that they claim. Muslims and Islam is the only religion that claims out of the Abrahamic and classical faiths, it's the only one that can prove the exact manuscripts. In fact, here in the UK, in the University of Birmingham, we have 4 folios of the Quran with 100% accuracy, which has been carbon dated by the University of Oxford. And if that's not all, the Quran has been mass memorized in pretty much every family or related family. There's at least one person that has memorized the Quran from cover to cover. It's the only classical mass memorized book. And not only that, we have chains of narration, i.e. we utilize testimony, and it has a much more rigorous system than even used in science today or even in your daily life. And their reliability is scrutinized from where they lived, where they traveled, who they met, who their teachers were, and if they lied and had a good memory or not. The criteria that we use for our chains of narration is fantastic and a miracle in itself, and something which is special to Islam. Before I leave you, let me show you how the Quran is special, yeah, in terms of its linguistics, in terms of numerics. Let's start with linguistically, yeah. In every chapter of the Quran, I'm getting really excited because look, when the Quran was revealed, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was unlettered, i.e. he could not read or write. Secondly, the Quran was situation based, i.e. something would happen, then verses of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him. And thirdly, at the time of the Prophet, it was not compiled into one book. It was written here and there, but it was not brought together. Now, bearing that in mind, every chapter of the Quran has at least one word. There are some chapters with more than one word, but at least one word that is not in any other chapter of the Quran. Now, this is special because somebody who is just making it up as they go along, you will see that it will be repetitive and it will not be unique and will not stand out. Secondly, it's the inimitability challenge of the Quran, which made the bold claim that if you can challenge it, produce a verse like it. Go on then. And the Arabs, who were the best poets of the time, even non-Muslim historians verify this, they couldn't imitate the Quran. In fact, even Angelica Neworth admits this as well. And if that's not all, you got something called concentrism, which is symmetry, be it in sentence structure, be it even in big chapters, i.e. if you look, you got A, B, then C, and then BA, and you can see chunks of the Quran reflect their subject matter. And if someone's just making it up, they're not writing it down because they can't write it down, it hasn't been compiled. How is this being done, mate? How? And if you're still not convinced, you have prophecies. For example, in chapter 111, Allah said that Abu Lahab, who was an enemy of Islam, would not accept Islam. Now, this was somebody that wanted to see Islam defeated. He would do anything to defeat Islam. And if this verse came from anyone other than Allah, surely he would have just said,
I'm a Muslim.
And then the Quran would have been falsified. So not only that, but also when it came to the conquest of Makkah, after that pretty much everybody accepted Islam. So the author of the Quran knew that Abu Lahab would not survive till the conquest of Makkah as well. Another prophecy is of course the Byzantines, who were losing terribly by the Persians, and the Persians were defeating them left, right and center in every aspect, mate. But the Quran predicted that within 9 years the Byzantines would beat the Persians. And not only is this something that is just in the Quran, this can be cross-referenced and checked by non-Muslim sources. Primary sources, you've got the Chronicles of Theophanes, who also verifies this as well. Let's move on to numerical. As we know, Prophet Adam was born without a mother and a father, and Jesus was born without a father. So both of them had miraculous births. If you count their mentions in the Quran, both of them are mentioned 25 times. For somebody that's just making it up as he goes along, how do you explain this? Another thing, there's a chapter of the people of the cave. So they miraculously remained sleeping in the cave for 309 years. And let's take the word remained. In Arabic is labithu. It's mentioned twice. And if you count the words in between both labithus, you will see that they add up to 309. Lo and behold, that's the same amount of years that they were sleeping in the cave, mate. And also, if you go to the 300th word, the 300th word is thalatha mi'a, which is 300. And there's loads of these, frankly, yeah? You can read a book by Raymond Farron. He talks about concentrism, and there's loads of these. Even Noman Ali Khan's got a book on the Quran as well. Alright guys, hope you have benefited. Let's leave it there. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.